Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Brazil run. Last episode we went communist and we got this very ugly flag, so the truth hurts, the flag hurts. But this episode, one of us will be hurting. We are fighting the USA again. Now, earlier in the run, we fought the USA and we won the war, but we lost, our economy at the expense of going bankrupt. And now we're going to be fighting the USA again. But one of our war goals here is going to be liberate the CSA, and they have two war goals, conquer California and Nevada, and so kind of the fate of the Americas will be decided here. Will the United States be given sovereignty over North America? We'll just forget about Alaska, pretend it doesn't exist, pretend it doesn't say Brazil, or will Brazil reign supreme over all of the Americas by, really clapping the USA almost certainly down to being a great power after releasing the CSA? We're going to find out. Now, the balance of power is kind of equal in this. We have a little bit bigger army, but almost certainly, our army that is available to us, this 1K versus this 700 battalions, almost certainly our battalions have lower PMs on average, and they have a bigger navy. They have a navy with a power projection of 1,200, and our navy power projection is 8,500. Our overall battalions that are raised gives a little bit bigger army power projection, and so, but here's a problem. We're fighting on their dirt. They're trying to, they also need to take it to us in order to get regime change, but we're going to be fighting in the Americas, and so they can use the Navy to convoy raid us. We have the Panama Canal, though, so we can zip through navies and they can't, and so we can try and dodge and land on sides that they don't have navies, and this sort of thing. We're also fighting Germany, who is looking for Rhinish Wallonia, and so we want to enforce on Germany first, most likely. That way, once the USA's out, then Germany can enforce on us, right? If we take a look here, with return Rhinish Wallonia, I'm very uncertain that we will be able to gain control of this. But if we enforce on Germany first, then we won't have to worry about it. So we're probably not going to land the CSA, and we're probably going to be looking to grind down and play mostly defense, I think, even. Maybe we'll look to push the USA. It depends on what the fronts look like, but if the fronts are close to bleed balanced, we're going to go defensive. We're also enacting cooperative ownership. We went communism, but we didn't fully lock it in. We have locked in all of our companies here. If I'm not mistaken, or the way it has worked before, is when you swap off laissez-faire, you lose a company slot, but it doesn't unslot the companies. And so as a result, these are going to be the companies we stay with for the rest of the run. Just kind of briefly going through it, we are mainly focusing on resource companies. We unfortunately don't have a coal company. This is a little bit of a downside. Maybe we could give up this company here, which is the state construction efficiency we kind of really like. Is one of the big reasons, and maybe construction's less valuable, but I kind of want to experiment with the power plants, the throughput and the construction speed on this. We're still constructing a lot of power plants. The throughput's relatively good, because very often you're spacing these out and you're having like one of these, in a state, in which case you're not going to get any throughput from economies of scale, but you're going to get 20 from the company, and so that's going to be quite nice. But yeah, this is how things are going. And let's see how this develops. Hopefully no one else joins the USA. That would really hurt. We cannot sway them, even though it lies to us and says we can. And our allies, they have Germany. Our allies are, all of our subjects. And then also Egypt, which we made a defensive pact when the USA made a demand. Mexico, who wants some dirt back. And Italy, who thinks USA's a dirtbag. So there's all that, and they want to humiliate them. Big nice. So it looks like we're going to be pretty rough shape in this front at the very start here. We've decided to just entirely defend over here, and we're actually moving our 100 stack, our biggest army, over here. And so it's going to be a little while. It's like another 50 or so days before they get here. And so we just got to hold until that time comes. But with everyone on defense and trench infantry, we should be in good shape. We're not pushing on this front. We have no one assigned on this front. Just kidding, we lied. But we're not going to push this front. It's too even. And then down here, nobody assigned, and we have our fast pushers, and so we will be using these boyos to just try and push through as quickly as possible. Ooh, stalwart defender. We'll save that guy for a different group. But these guys, we're just going to try and push through here quickly, and then reserve this guy, because this is our big landing squad. We're going to reserve this and probably use it to land. I don't know exactly where we're supposed to land, to be honest. So this is our really big fleet. We have it docked here. We have most of our fleet just kind of in a defensive posture. We have some here because the AI seems to like to raid us here, and we have you know, the majority of our fleet here and then some here. And the main idea is we can protect our shipping lanes, and then with this 110 stack respond pretty aggressively to, you know, if they move troops around, as well as, you know, thwart any naval landings, because we didn't leave too many troops behind. We could here, let's get this guy going and move him somewhere. This guy who we did not assign a commander to, we are just going to move over here to kind of you know, secure this node as well, with this 110 who's going to be roaming. So the problem is we kind of want to do a landing with this huge landing stack into Germany. Probably landing Pomerania. This would be decent. They have too much navy here right now. I don't think we get through that naval presence. We just got a new tech for capital ships, for dreadnoughts. We're putting in 20 dreadnoughts. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to build up even more of these. We have 40 scout cruisers coming in. We got 20 dreadnoughts coming in. And I think what our strategy is going to be, we got to promote some of these guys, is build this up to around a 200 stack over the course of the war. Try and push it out until then, and then use this stack to land a big one, you know, over in here. One problem is we're going to be losing out on convoys here, and so I don't know the best way to resolve this other than sending our 110 stack and then looking to maneuver the smaller stacks around what the US is going to be doing with their fleet. But I think we're going to mainly watch and see what people are doing. As you can see, they're starting to move their ships around, and so there's our 100 stack coming in, and they're all funneling out. So if they're all funneling out and they're going to come over towards us, we're super fine. You know, if they're raiding the convoys here, which they probably are. No, these guys are just escorting. If they were raiding there, we could maybe do something, and then we're just going to keep an eye. Like, this fleet is going to raid, and we know it's going to raid, so we might want to, you know, start moving this on over. And then we can see here we're making progress, quite a bit of progress, because there's no one on the front. And once we fully occupy this, we'll pull the guy off or just have him sit in the HQ as he, you know, finishes conscripting up. It's a bit grim how effective, you know, convoy raiding can be. We have a little message here. 5,900 of our convoys were sunk here, where we have a pretty substantial naval presence, which is a bit unfortunate. I don't know if any of these guys, one of these guys is on escort, another's on intercept. We haven't seen a battle here yet, but this does seem to be where they like to raid us in particular, and so, everything is isolated now, instantly. Off the back of that, is that really? That's so grim, dude. That's a 58 convoy deficit. We had our navy there when they raided us down. You know, 5K of our or 6K of our convoys were sunk. Escorting fleets were able to avoid the loss of 600 additional convoys, but like, and then we just got 4K sunk right here. Really grim. What do they have here? So they have some destroyers and some torpedo boats and some ironclads, and here they have torpedo boats and monitors and ironclads. But we have, like, I feel like we have a pretty substantive fleet here with monitors, destroyers, scout cruisers, and some dreadnoughts. The fact that we're not catching any of this is a little bit grim, or we're catching like 10%, but it just instantly isolates all of Africa. Okay, so that's very effective. We are pushing in here. We're also raiding a little bit of them. We sunk, you know, like 1K convoys here in St. Helen, and then, you know, we're also, our main raider force we put right here, we just wanted them to be kind of intercepting more of the US's stuff while still being relatively close to other fleets we have. And we're just kind of defending. Now, here's the problem. If these guys lose a ton of access to military goods, we will actually get really rough, you know, penalties in terms of where we're at, which it doesn't seem like we're running it right now. That guy couldn't really push in, so we swapped everyone to all defense, and we're hoping to defend here for a little while this huge stack here, you know, comes on up. But I think we're going to add a lot of Navy, we're going to add some scout cruisers to each of these, like, yellow squadrons that we have. And I think we have one more yellow squadron over here, and we're just going to move them on here, because they seem to really like this node, and so we're just going to try and bring more force to bear over here. We do have an ally who's got this right here, but could you just move it over? Also, it's just a bunch of frigates, so that actually won't even help that much. So we finished the Cristo Redentor, which is pretty nice. It gives us this event, which can give us migration attraction for 9 years, as well as urban city throughput. We could also get devout and conversion, but we're gonna, of course, go with the migration, so that's neat. The Trench v Trench over here in, the Rhineland area is really just giving off some World War I vibes. We are, unfortunately, our allies are trying to push this. We are not trying to push this. We're just defending. But all the battles that we're defending in, we seem to be doing fairly well in. And we're just going to continue doing this until our landing squad and our navy feels ready. USA, notably, is getting enforced down pretty quick. And there's maybe a world where we want to try and enforce the USA down and then try and blitz them. We cannot enforce them below 0 at this current point in time, but let's take a look at the Navy stuff. We do not seem to be winning these, which is a little bit concerning, and by a little bit, I mean extremely. Okay, we're winning this one. So this one's from the Armada Nacional, which is our big one. This is also from the Armada Nacional. They're all coming kind of from the same thing, and we could, I guess, take a look at what exactly is, getting sunk. Is it not going to tell us the numbers? 4 monitors. 4 of these. Okay. The one we're winning, what are we taking in here? We're taking in 24 ironclads, 24 monitors, and 1 destroyer. We're still not getting the dreadnoughts in just quite yet. They were at the front of the queue. They will take some time to recruit up and build up, but we have a really big economy relative to the powers that are in this war. The German Empire is next. Well, I guess we're not that much bigger than the German Empire, and we are really gimped by the fact that they just crushed our market access in like 2 seconds to all of Africa. Here, let's clear this. We still have 0 access, which is why we get this cacophony of madness up here. Which means if we had recruited a bunch of troops in Africa, all those troops would effectively be dead in terms of any of their inputs. But it does seem that this is not good either. The Italians floating in their wooden boats against the USA stuff. It's just like World War II. Italy not doing too hot in this. That's part of what I meant by we probably have overall worse PMs, because we have a lot of allies that are not as modernized as USA and others. But we are just defending up here, and we got cooperative ownership. We are just defending up here and just looking to grind them out more than anything. We have some of the war goals. We're probably... Actually, do we even have a war goal on Germany? There's no war goal on Germany, so Germany can actually just get enforced out if we do nothing. We actually don't even have to land Germany, so we're probably actually just going to chill on the Germany issue and just wait for them to completely exhaust themselves on this front before trying to win against the USA, which makes things easier, and we can just throw boats into this wood chipper over here that is, this sea node that they've decided that they want to fight over. It looks like one of our navies got repelled completely and is defeated and is out. And it looks like we have 2 remaining admirals in this one to try and slog through these troops. And maybe it's just a little bit too much. We do have the most modern ships, but we don't have quite as many ships. Oh, looks like we might have enforced them out. In which case, mano y mano, shippo y shippo, we are getting in there. We're getting a lot of convoys are getting sunk on both sides too. Nowhere near how the opening salvo where they just sunk a ton in this node. So maybe this was the node to really protect the node into Africa, because we do have a lot of African stuff. And it looks like they're starting to get a better and better advantage here, and maybe starting to gain some land back. We do have this guy is effectively in reserve and has not been committed. And this is our biggest landing army. They have really strong everything. We're using motorized reconnaissance, the whole shebang, and we are hemorrhaging money. So actually, now that we've finished passing the law, we're going to delete down 500 construction-ish, and the heuristic we're going to use is we are going to look at the construction sectors, we're going to look at the upkeep, and then we're going to scroll to the bottom, or we're going to do this. we're going to find where the upkeep is bad, and then we're just going to boink it. And to be fair, that upkeep is bad because you have no market access because you're in Africa, so fair enough. But these ones will be nice to bink and get rid of, and so we're just going to do this, and we're going to look to grind down to about 1,300 construction. That way, this, you know, huge negative balance is not as problematic. So it looks like we cannot hold here and are going to lose and get occupied here. Hopefully, if that's not full occupation, it looks like we still have a front here, so that's going to be good for us. So we do have a chance to recover it. We could move this guy over here, but I think the problem is we don't have the convoys. We don't have the convoy support to here. We're going to try and move some guys over to try and see if they can support the convoys. We can see, I think the red circle means that there is, you know, enemy. There are 9,000 convoys belonging to our shiplings that pass through this node. Convoy rating is sinking some, and so we will send these guys over and have these guys escort. And then these guys will also set to escort merchant convoys, and we will also, well, actually, some of these we're not concerned with, but we do need to get supplies to these guys, so we're going to also move these guys here. Oh man, they're just going to get churned up by this 80 stack if they encounter each other. Here, we do seem to be getting naval battles. We only have one general remaining, or we have two admirals rather, generals of the sea remaining, and they do seem to be slowly churning through, you know, over there. And, ooh, looks like did the USA land, or what is this about? This is about a revolution. Okay, well, doesn't concern us. We're still holding in over here, though, despite losing this ground over here, and Germany cannot enforce us below 0 as long as the USA is still in the war. So despite us, like, losing this, or probably about to lose this, or, well, actually, maybe we make a bit of a recovery here, but this is why we're going to look to churn this one out and have this one go a long time, is we need to enforce on Germany first. I mean, maybe we land on Germany. It looks like the USA is seeing their way out of here. All their fleets, all their admirals have been defeated. We have 2 admirals remaining. They have 4 admirals remaining, and they just won a rumble. It looks like they're on all... Oh, no, wait, they just won a raid. Yeah, the truth hurts. We're trying to catch them here, and to some extent we are catching them here, so we'll continue to do that. So we mostly kick back the German fleet here. They only have 1 admiral remaining, and they've swapped everyone to defend convoys or escort convoys rather than raiding. And then we have this guy, and he just has to get through 1 more American fleet. So we've slowly ground down their fleets here. And I think after this, oh no, they got another one coming in. Son of a bizzle, dude. They just never end. But, and there's, like, still sinking almost all of our convoys here every time they raid. We do have, like, 1 guy here who's escorting convoys in addition to, you know, pursuing fleets, and maybe they should be both on escort convoys. This is possible, but we are expecting Germany to... if we take a look and see how keen people are on peace, Germany's kind of keen on peace. Germany's kind of with it. They're with it, as it were. And so we've decided to, you know, do a little bit of a dust-up operation and see if we can land with our smaller squad here in the USA. And Egypt, one of our allies, is out, which is a pretty good sign because this probably means that, you know, Germany's relatively close to being out. And we research compression ignition, which is one of the best techs in the game. We were doing it ahead of time as one of our tier 5s. Could make an argument that maybe we should have focused on some military tech, which we will now do, because we're having some problems. Maybe we get landing craft, and if this goes off 20 months, maybe it'll come in useful here. But other than that, it's kind of keen on going battleship after this, maybe, because that will not be something we need to upgrade. Although, that's a tier 5 tech. Squad infantry is almost certainly more important than that. So, we'll maybe go machine gun into squad, something like this. Seems good. Alright, Germany's out. Germany, I repeat, is out. And so they will not be getting any sort of Rhinish Wallonia, and we will be able to recommit all of our troops, including this big fat stack, over. Also, the landing came in. It looks like our troops are already deciding to, you know, go where they should be going. And this frees up this absolutely massive stack of ours, which only has 1 admiral remaining, but 1's all you need. We're going to try and land with the 100 stack landing squad, which should be able to get in, and we should be getting this on the USA after fighting a very long and defensive looking war. This marks the end of the USA's dominance in the region. By the region, I mean the Americas. This is the real America right here, Brazil. And so we are going to about to get this landing in. I'm assuming we'll have to fight through a few naval battles, but they haven't been able to pull anyone onto this front, which is going to be very, very, very bad for them. And we are getting, everyone in here. They're going to start shuffling around troops, but it doesn't really matter. This landing actually might not even pop off because it might get caught. We do get caught a little bit here, but our 100 stack is almost in the fray. And so this 100 stack is going to be able to make a pretty marked difference as well in how this is going to roll out. I think once the 100 stack's here, we're going to rededicate this guy to this front over here, and we should be able to push in. I said will like it's a foregone conclusion, but with this 100 stack arriving, we should have a pretty big advantage. And even if we can't push through the natural way, which is of course how we're trying to push through, we still have this coming in. And I don't think that they have enough guys in reserve here to resist this 100 stack landing squad here. And so it's going to land in on the capital, and that's going to be all she wrote for the USA. And our allies are out, which is unfortunate because we actually would have wanted Return Sonora to get enforced, but it's not the biggest deal either. We are getting in here. I said we are getting in here. Alright, well, we are going to get in here. Alright, well, this is bugged because they are somehow contesting our landing with a navy that has no admirals currently recruited, and then they shuffle over more navies, but it doesn't seem like we can get in currently. Like this way, and we're not going to get in pushing through their trench, really. So this is like, it's wild, but it could just be a slog to slowly push here with just our best generals, because we only have a few guys pushing, because 74 is really not a big plus margin when most of the troops are trench. Or I guess we could try landing up here, but then we have to get through these guys, which we can't get through these guys with our secondary navy, so we would need to abandon this initial landing with the big navy. I'm not sure. This seems like a bug, though. How this can be contested waters when the guys have been soundly defeated. They're just not going back home. They refuse to quit. I guess they're just too American or something, I don't know. Germany seems to not be doing so hot after this war. And speaking of this war, we relanded up top, the main idea being that there isn't this ghost navy that can just intercept us indefinitely, and we are pushing now ever so slowly down into the south. We're making slow progress. I mean, eventually we're going to meat grind our way through. We also sided with the Croatian revolt in exchange for them being subjugated, and once this is done, we're going to take this 30 stack and we're going to try relanding through the Ghost Navy. But this is, it seems that war took a great toll on the German Empire, and we might even try and get a little bit involved in this, because the USA, the USA war is effectively over. It's just a matter of time, although to be fair, we can't reorganize our troops until we finish it out. We are recovering on the convoys now that we have beaten most of the American Navy with our Doom stack, and of course some of them are ghosts. Shout out to the ghosts, but we will be able to hopefully do something up. We can't side with them, and these guys don't want our support, so, which makes sense. Makes sense. Alright, it's been quite a while, but I do think this is the battle where we are going to start getting in on, I believe this is for, well, it says Battle for Washington, but I think it's the Battle for Washington, D.C., or the District of Columbia, because if this is the Battle for Washington, I'm really confused. But if it is the Battle for Washington, I believe it gets occupied in a single battle, and we are about to see the full occupation of the District of Columbia, hopefully. Oh, 92. Come on, give me a break. But we're getting in there. This has been an absolute slogfest. I mean, you can go back and look at the last date that we were recording on, but we very nearly passed a law in, like, this interim since it's taken to push here, which has just been, like, such a grind. I mean, the Ghost Navy really is what's making it extremely difficult, because normally we would just kind of land and not look to push in trench v trench, and it looks like we just get a nice little surround on the District of Columbia now. But the presence of this Ghost Navy is made it impossible to land. So I mean, they're Navy. They're a ghost. They're not a man. They're not a boat. They're a ghost. And there we go. There we have it. Now we should be getting ticking war score on them, and they are going to tick 9 at a time, Oop, that's not what we wanted. Liberate CSA. Will you say yes? You, in fact, will. Thank God let us out. We even forgot to put in war reparations, but that's it. They're going to decay down. They're very, very, like, smacked around as well here, so wouldn't be surprised if they rev off the back of this. And we finally have convoys again. Yay! Because our convoys aren't so rated. Yay! Let's see. Let's take a look at their GP status. Their current prestige is 1255. If they're below 1200, wah. I guess they're going to stay a GP, but they're a rank 9 GP, not a respectable GP. They're barely a GP. They're you're better than Qing GP, although Qing, their problem is just that they're not recognized. Revolutionary Germany is ahead of USA, my guy. And then the CSA, I'm assuming, they're minor. What the hell? That's an interesting one. We will probably run trade with them and see if we can get them in our customs union, something like... Well, actually, they'll probably siphon off pops from us, so maybe... Nope, wait, they're discriminatory, right? They're racial discriminatory, obviously, because I think everyone still has slavery. You have slavery, everyone has slavery. Okay, so, yep. We have won the battle for the Americas, my guys. We have won. We're annexing the Confederation of the Rhine, but unfortunately here, they are having the Douala uprising right after we started annexing them, so I'm pretty sure we just lose this, which is kind of stupid, but it is what it is. We will be annexing them, but very importantly, from this, we will be getting a Guyana, and then we will just have the British left to deal with in regards to getting all of South America. So we went down the communist path that was the vanguardist, intelligentsia, rural folk, trade unions, and armed forces will adopt vanguardism if they are marginalized, and in order to complete this journal we need 2 out of 3 interest groups to have vanguardist, communist, and anarchist, and we have to enact single party state. So let's get on the single party state, as it were. Currently, of those guys, you know, the rural folk are extremely good, the trade unionists are extremely good for us, and after that we don't really care that much because our intelligentsia not very good. You know, I guess we are okay with the minus radicals from SOL decreases. Maybe we slot these guys in before going, you know, single party state here. And then we could also replace them intentionally with an anarchist or another boyo in order to help complete this journal entry faster. So let's take a look. Radical, that's not what we want. We want a communist, baby. Where are they? Where's Harvey Dent? So we could invite this guy. He's an experienced diplomat. We could invite this guy. And so I think that we will invite... Yeah, sure, why not? And then we'll promote you to government. Grant leadership. Probably... I'm kind of keen on using the cooldown a little bit effectively, but also, just to re-emphasize, this guy is extremely nice with the minus infamy decay, or the plus infamy decay, rather. The minus infamy total, however you want to look at it. And then with these three gentlemen, it will be very easy to go single party state. I am the state. We are the state. Everyone put your hands together for the state. So at the end of this month here, we should be completing the Brazilian naval power journal entry. Just as soon as we hit February 1st, it will hit 100%, and we will get splendid. All states with at least 5 naval base, level 5 naval base, will get 50% of officer pops become loyalists. That's a big percent, and 25% of servicemen become loyalists. Generally, officers are a driver of, you know, this IG approval sort of metric. So right now it's at 12. Let's see if it goes up any. Surely, it goes up by 1 and went up to 13. A little bit interesting, but that is the Brazilian naval power. And I think we kind of have done most of the stuff that's specific that does not involve going down the Republican route as far as journal entries for Brazil, with the exception of exploiting the Amazon. Exploiting the Amazon will require that we get this portion of Guyana back from Britain. And we also have an achievement still available here, which is still tied to the same thing, the Devil's Railroad. Completely exploited the Amazon journal entry, own all Amazon states, and construct railroads in them. And so we have this a little bit left to do here, kind of coming in. But I think that we are going to conclude the episode here. This episode, we have, and by the way, the reason we're concluding it here is we need to get these guys below poor relations, or sorry, above poor relations here, and then we can try and wheel and deal with them in order to get Patagonia and Guyana, and if they won't wheel and deal, then we will we will fight them. So this is the plan for next episode. But this episode, we have, had a bit of a battle for the Americas, battle for the fate of the Americas here, and we have come out on top. We have significantly weakened the USA to the point where they are not going to be a threat to us after them kind of giving us a bit of a shellacking earlier in the run. We had a little bit of a struggle. I mean, we have had a huge come up kind of going into this communism type thing. I suppose maybe we should just play just a little bit longer because we're about to get 25 SOL here, but we'll get it next episode. It's not too big a deal. If we take a look at our population and we look at what's going on, they're on an excess. This is our lower strata with an SOL of 23, so that is a big crank up for them. And you look at what they're consuming, like where's the grain at, my dogs? The grain's all the way down here, really not consuming a lot of grain. These guys have had a huge come up. We have our SOLs had a huge come up, our GDPs had a huge come up, just really kind of popping off at the end here in a kind of big way. In terms of pops, like we have just been pretty linear here, getting a ton from migration despite leaving the Russian market. Was a little bit concerned once we left the Russian market that we might have a little bit of trouble. And if we take a look into some comparative factors, we are pulling away from Great Britain in terms of GDP power, although we definitely want to make sure that we have the ability to fight them if we have to. And so, we have this really big navy, but I think that we're going to, just kind of taking a look and thinking through next episode, we have a 21k in terms of our military power projection and around 20k in terms of the Navy. I think Great Britain's still a little bit bigger than us in the Navy. 26k, so they have way more flotillas, but really not a lot more power projection. We're using more modernized, and 27k, so they're just a little bit stronger than us militarily, so we probably want to prep for that if diplomacy will fail, but that's going to be kind of what we're doing next episode. And just taking a look, we have by far the strongest SOL. Communism wins in the end when we get the SOL up, because that's what it's really, really good for. And, having SOL is a lot better when you are playing, a new world country where you're getting like all these modifiers. Well, we're only getting the rural folk modifier, which is kind of lame relative to the Intelligentsia, but we have teeming shore, we have GP, and we have all this unused arable land, really getting very high levels of migration throughout the run. You can see we have we have just been very continuously getting mass migration events, and so this has been very nice for us as we've reformed the economy. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you did, and other than that, have a good day.